Mike Tyson has accumulated a lot of casualties in his professional boxing career against fighters who almost doubled his size. He has never felt fear or been intimidated by the words of those boxers who know how to attack in press conferences but fail to live up to their threats once they enter the honorable fighting ring. What happened on the day these two profiles clashed? Welcome. In today's video, I will talk to you about the fight where Iron Mike had to face the most conceited fat man of his entire career, and he lived to tell the tale. Once again demonstrating that punches have the final say in the noble art of boxing, this is the encounter between Mike Tyson and Brian Nielsen that everyone was talking about in 2001. I hope you're comfortable because this battle is about to begin. Born on April 1st, 1965, Brian Nielsen is a well-remembered Danish professional boxer today. Probably his greatest moments of glory were experienced before stepping into the ring to face Iron Mike. From 96 to 99, he held the IBO heavyweight title. Nielsen successfully defended his title 5 times, even against the legendary Larry Holmes and the almost unstoppable Phil Jackson. Establishing the second highest number of defenses, second only to Vladimir Klitschko, he was not necessarily a rival you wanted to step into the ring with. At one point, he matched Rocky Marciano's record of 49 consecutive wins without defeats. With Tyson nearing the end of the second decade of his professional career, opinions on what would happen once he entered the ring to face Nielsen were more than divided. Under this uncertainty, both fighters entered the Parken Ring in Copenhagen, Denmark, on October 13, 2001. Steve Smager was the man tasked with ensuring a fair fight, while the critical eye of Erkki Marinen, Daniel van de Wiel, and Marty Denkin were to declare a winner at the end of the scheduled 10 rounds if the force of their fists was not enough to claim victory. With 62 victories, 43 of them by Tyson's 48 victories, 42 of them by knockout, were not exactly anything. But coupled with his 3 previous losses and 2 draws, it seemed the balance tipped in favor of the conceited Dane. With the bell sound, the first round of the contest began. Tyson honored his legacy from the get-go, cornering Nielsen and executing a powerful combination of body punches to waste no time in working towards his victory.
I'm not sure yet.
The body and the head now.
It seemed the Danish fat man had run out of ammunition early in the fight when he focused on his guard to avoid being injured by the missiles raining from all directions, the problem he had gotten himself into. Backing up to being cornered seemed to be part of Nielsen's strategy for the start of the second round. Covering his face, he subjected his body to absorb the ruthless punches Tyson landed on him. Sound. With Nielsen grumpy about this event, everyone eagerly awaited to discover what would happen next.
To the second. Combination of the head by but Nielsen still stands
against a fighter larger than himself, and he was proving it. Once the fight resumed, Mike showed that there was no need to resort to dirtiness to tame a rival. Like teaching a lesson to his adversaries for some reflection. After the bell sound, the giant Dane continued to move from side to side, seeking some stability. Arriving at his corner, he fell to his knees and shots had torn him apart. Without any mercy, Tyson pushed Nielsen against the ropes after the first blow of the 4th round. Continuing to work towards his victory with body combinations, Mike's halfway through the scheduled rounds. How much time could he buy with such a cowardly approach?
right there, and then he countered with a big right, heavy right hand. The crowd hoping for a miracle here.
At the start of the Tyson looked as fresh as someone who had just woken up from a restful sleep, but the same couldn't be said for Nielsen. Throughout 6 tough rounds, the conceited Dane was the one who had endured the bitter part of the encounter. When the bell called the fighters to start the 7th episode, the camera focused on Nielsen, who was still in his corner. Hidden among his team, it was communicated that he decided to surrender. That man who everyone thought would be an easy target for living the last years of his activity in professional boxing showed that there was still much of himself to offer to the discipline. While this was one of Mike Tyson's last victories, the moment of his retirement keeps him dignified even today. On the other hand, Brian, unfortunately, he proved not to be one of them. If you've made it this far, I thank you. If you liked the story, remember there's no better way to support my content than leaving your like on the video. Do you know another one of Tyson's last fights that also deserves its moment on my channel? Select the next one and I'll see you there. Opening the 90s with great force, Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock were not just the protagonists of a fight but of a war that would unfold in 2 battles in the ring and a parallel one to determine who was the #1 contender in the discipline. Highlighting the best and worst moments of each, our invitation is for you to stay until the end of the video and join us on this journey filled with deadly left hooks, controversial low blows, and much excitement even after the bell signaling the end of the contest. The extensive battle between Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock would begin on March 18, 1991, with the Mirage Hotel and Casino Ring in Las Vegas as the battlefield. The fight would be supervised by the critical eyes of judges Jerry Roth, Chuck Jampa, and Dave Moretti, and controlled by the wisdom of referee Richard Steele. Tyson would enter the scene as the #1 heavyweight contender in the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and International Boxing Federation. There was great anticipation for the fight simply because Donovan Ruddock was the next in line. Ruddock's professional record at 27 years old was 25 victories, 18 by knockout, 1 defeat, and 0 draws. Tyson, at only 24, had 39 victories, 35 by knockout, and 1 defeat. As the bell rang, the first round began, and Tyson leaped from his corner with the characteristic aggressive fighting style that made him nearly unstoppable at that time. With his body already absorbing powerful combinations of punches, Ruddock sought to land effective counterattacks without neglecting his guard to neutralize Iron Mike's severe offensive.
Throwing a big punch, he stumbled after the punch. It's done something, it stopped Iron Mike.
An associate minister lets them know, doesn't seem to care. A hard body punch by Tyson.
Ruddock would go down early in the second round after receiving a powerful left hook that temporarily weakened his legs.
Defended by Ruddock.
Despite surpassing the safety count, he demonstrated that he had much more to offer before being declared defeated.
It didn't even get to a warning, but that's the kind of stuff that's going to cost him if the fight continues. Steele will have.
Showing that the previous round was no fluke, Tyson would knock down Ruddock once again during the third round. After engaging in close combat with his rival for most of the episode, with less than 10 seconds remaining, another powerful left hook would send Ruddock to the canvas.
He just doesn't quite get there.
The audience couldn't believe what was happening, and it was evident on Ruddock's face that he, too, didn't fully comprehend the situation. Showing readiness to continue at the count of 8, the bell allowed him to return to his corner and rethink his strategy before Tyson proved that the third time is the charm. Despite staying on his feet, the 4th and 5th rounds wouldn't necessarily be Ruddock's resurgence. Tyson, seemingly punishing him mercilessly like a medieval executioner, applied enough pressure for his opponent to break at any moment.
He's got to get his fire going again. Steele, warning.
Tyson's promoter, Don King.
Or his honesty.
Despite actively seeking to inflict some damage with his counterattacks, Ruddock had trouble landing a significant blow on Iron Mike's body, who appeared to be very close to achieving his goal, victory. Tyson opened the 6th round by pushing Ruddock back against the ropes, a move that would be repeated more than once within the time limit marked by the bell. Throwing punches with decreasing certainty, Ruddock began to resemble a punching bag for a fighter who didn't mind breaking his soul with punches if necessary to secure a knockout victory.
Who continues to stay on his feet. He's been knocked down twice. Combination by Mike.
Ending his ordeal in the 7th round, Tyson finally positioned Ruddock against the ropes to deliver the most deadly combination of punches he had received in his entire professional career. After moving toward the center of the ring, it seemed that Iron Mike's attacks had ceased until a second flurry of punches made Donovan Ruddock dance like a puppet, colliding with the ropes. At which point Richard Steele knew he had given his all and was not in a condition to continue.
Applies the pressure. He's got him where he wants him now. He's just in.
Tyson has Ruddock on the rope. Now the right combination. Steele steps in.
Mike Tyson defeated Donovan Ruddock by technical knockout at 2 minutes and 22 seconds of the 7th round. Far from being the end of the war, it would be only one of the 2 battles that both fighters would engage in to determine who was the ultimate champion. In parallel, while the fighters shared a friendly embrace, their corners decided to start their own battle, creating a true chaos in the boxing ring. Having to separate the contenders, fearing they might get involved in the riot, one of the most unsportsmanlike scenarios in the history of the sport unfolded. Far from accepting defeat by the great Mike Tyson, Ruddock would do everything possible to have a second chance, leading them back to where it all began, the ring at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas on June 28, 1991. Chuck Champa would also be reprising his role as a judge, joined by Dalby Shirley and Art Lurie. This time, it would be referee Mills Lane's task to ensure the fight took place as cleanly as possible. Adding a victory to the previously mentioned record, Tyson once again presented himself as the #1 contender in the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and International Boxing Federation. Ruddock, who would add a loss to his record, remained the next in line. However, he maintained hope that this time he would succeed in overcoming Iron Mike. After the bell rang, the first round of one of the most anticipated rematches for the general public began. From the very beginning, Tyson adopted his explosive fighting style, making it clear to Ruddock that he had to approach him with a different offensive if he didn't want to achieve the same result.
A solid right hand by Ruddock a bit.
As if it were deja vu, Ruddock would go down in the second round after receiving a powerful right hook. Getting up immediately, he only allowed Iron Mike, who seemed out of control, to continue punishing him without showing any mercy.
Down goes Ruddock, up and overhand right. Ruddock in trouble. Another thundering right by Tyson. And there's blood from
Ruddock would taste the canvas once again during the fourth round. It was a bold left hook that made him fall backward, rising at the count of 8 to demonstrate his ability to continue the fight. From this point on, the fight stabilized, with occasional attacks from Ruddock trying to cause enough damage to slow down or deteriorate the cruel offensive Tyson maintained in each completed round. Closing the 8th episode, Mills Lane deducted a point from Ruddock after knowingly he hit Tyson after the bell rang. His chances of winning the fight were becoming slim, and his decision to disrespect the time limits only demonstrated the helplessness he felt in being dominated a second time by the Iron Mike Beast.
Again, action after the bell. Both these guys.
Tyson, not being the cleanest fighter in the contest, also suffered a point deduction imposed by Lane after, during the 9th and 10th rounds, he allowed controversial low blows to land on his opponent.
Wonderful left by Ruddock. Again the low blow. Again another low blow. By oh, nice counter punch by Tyson. Another right hand. Hard. Tyson.
With both pugilists giving their best, this time, the level of forces remained sufficiently balanced to allow them to reach the end of the originally agreed upon 12 rounds. After the bell signaling the end of the contest, the decision of who would be awarded the victory would depend on each judge's perspective regarding who set the pace of the fight and who submitted to it. When the announcer took center ring, the moods were truly heated. Leaving just enough intrigue to generate more excitement, he soon announced that the result was a unanimous decision in favor of Mike Tyson. Like two gentlemen, both fighters shook hands, shared a hug, and exchanged a few words, putting an end to a rivalry that extended for months, even though Donovan Ruddock couldn't remove the thorn of joining the few who defeated the great Iron Mike. Two battles with similar outcomes but different endings, demonstrating the art of knowing how to lose beyond knowing how to win. If you've made it this far, we can only thank you for joining us in reliving two of the most significant encounters in the journey of Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock in the discipline. If you enjoyed our story, remember that there's no better way to let us know than by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel, activating the notification bell so that YouTube informs you when we upload a new video. Now that you know the judge's decision in the rematch, do you agree, or do you think Ruddock fought well enough to have at least lost by a split decision? Mike Tyson, the man who had all his contemporaries trembling just by hearing his name, was threatened more than once before stepping into the ring. These are carried by his fists. One of them is Donovan Ruddock, the Canadian giant who was on his way to greatness, but Tyson brought him back down to earth. On a couple of occasions. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. A new clash of titans is about to begin. It was 1991 when Mike Tyson and Donovan Ruddock answered the call of a finicky fate to test their strength in the honorable boxing ring. The agreed date was March 18th, and unbeknownst to them, both would star in a tenacious chapter in the golden history of pugilism that would begin that day and close months later. In the ring at the Mirage Hotel and Casino, Richard Steele awaited them to join as the third man in the ring. Tyson entered the fight as the number 1 heavyweight contender for the World Boxing Council, the World Boxing Association, and the International Boxing Federation. Ruddock, the Canadian giant, entered as the number 2 contender for the same prestigious organizations. It was a heavyweight eliminator fight that would determine which of these 2 fighters would be the most lethal of the moment, and it did not disappoint any attendee. First round. Tyson jumped from his corner with his characteristic aggressiveness, sizing up Ruddock with his left and seeking the first blow with his right. Almost immediately, Mike's ferocity on the offensive drove Ruddock into the ropes. Shortly after, in the middle of an attack, a misstep almost sent the Canadian giant to the canvas.
Well, he's ready for it. He threw his bomb. All right. Tyson.
This series of events, in a short time, made Tyson completely take control of the fight's pace. Throughout the round, Ruddock attempted various attacks against Tyson, but Iron Mike's guard was as solid as a concrete wall.
Steele, an associate minister, lets them know.
Ruddock began to put some distance between him and Mike by stretching his left and trying to reduce his attacks by opting for clinches. But every so often, Tyson landed a good punch that reminded everyone present why he was the true knockout machine.
Save the care. A harsh body punch by Tyson.
That's the real Tyson right there.
The tension rose even more when, after the bell rang to end the round, the fighters did not stop.
Tyson hitting afterwards. And the bad foot.
With Steele separating them and their respective corners entering the ring, what was around the corner was an unprecedented event that no one could anticipate. Second round. When Ruddock came out of his corner, Tyson was already waiting for him like a predator for its prey. As soon as the bell rang, he pounced on him and neutralized any initiative by the Canadian giant to seek the first blow. Shortly after, with a powerful left hook, Mike sent Ruddock to the canvas. Not even he himself could believe what had just happened. But there was no mystery. He had been a victim of the power of a living legend, Iron Mike. Donovan got up immediately and returned to the fight only to continue being subdued by Mike. His attempts to level the balance were futile. His attacks were weak. Therefore, clinching remained his best friend in the ring. His struggle to put some distance between him and Tyson became more evident, who occasionally continued to land big blows.
Because the hurricane is building up. For one punch when he should be punching.
Alternating between sadistic combinations to the body and head, Mike left no doubt as to why he was the number 1 heavyweight contender. Third round. Ruddock started by putting some distance between him and Tyson, stretching his left, but it didn't take long for him to be hit by the force of Mike's left. Tyson, who pushed him back until he hit the ropes, had a clear strategy and it was working. In contrast, it seemed that the Canadian giant didn't know how to engage his opponent. Even in the middle of the clinches Ruddock generated, Tyson delivered accurate body shots that shook his opponent's fighting spirit. His left hand was starring in the match, so it was only a matter of time before the unimaginable happened. Once again, during the last 20 seconds of the round, Ruddock opened his guard while attempting to attack Tyson with sloppy combinations. This sudden change in his stance gave Tyson the opportunity to score another knockdown. With less than 5 seconds remaining, Tyson's lethal left executed a second hook that made the Canadian giant wobble, ending up hitting the canvas on his back.
He just doesn't quite get there.
There's a left by Ruddock. A left by Tyson. And down goes Ruddock.
Upon getting back up, the expression on his face was pure gold, a mix of naivety and fear. The beast that vowed to kill Mike Tyson was being tamed, and in the cruelest way possible. When the fight resumed, time played in his favor, and the sound of the bell gave him the breath to live another round. Fourth round. After the close of the previous episode, Ruddock did not want to risk a single inch of himself. His left continued trying to mark distance from Tyson, retreating when he advanced until there was nothing but the ropes behind. When he got too close, the Canadian giant created a clinch to buy some time and reduce Mike's freedom to attack him. Occasionally, he threw a punch or two that seemed to go nowhere.
As far as his feet go, not as far. It seems as if Tyson catches breath, looking for a second win here. He's forward. Tyson looking for that. That body shot sounded like he hit a drum. Again, the crowd groans. Relentless attack by Tyson.
He only managed to land one last punch when the bell rang to end the round, and Tyson responded by ceasing fire.
Oh, they hit after the bell once again.
Fifth round. The Predator was starting to get tired of playing with his prey, and it was evident. Reducing the number of attacks, you could see how Mike closely followed Ruddock with his gaze to find the weak point where to slip his lethal fists. For the moment, it was his chest, his liver area, or his head.
This one was a good shot by Ruddock.
Tyson did a good job demonstrating a great ability to attack various targets at once. Meanwhile, the Canadian giant's body was being tested. It was about seeing how many deadly punches from Iron Mike he could absorb without collapsing. Once again,
The question is integrity or his honesty.
Sixth round. Ruddock backed into the ropes as soon as the round started. Tyson had tamed him, and he wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. Failing most of his attempts to attack, the Canadian giant was subjected to receiving punches 10 times more powerful on any valid corner of his body. At this point, the question was how much longer Donovan Ruddock would be able to withstand Mike Tyson in the ring. And the answer was just around the corner.
Continues to stay on his feet. He's been knocked down twice. Though he's getting chopped down little by little. Whoa, nice right hand.
Seventh round. With Tyson dominating the first half of the 7th episode, for some reason Ruddock thought it would be a good idea to lower his guard to counterattack. In the center of the ring, this sudden change in posture gave Tyson the opportunity to unleash heavy artillery. With a couple of body shots, he guided the Canadian giant into his deadly trap, the ropes. Once there, the target was clear. He was going for the head. Steele tried to give Ruddock the chance to defend himself, putting some distance between them. But there was nothing to be done. Mike executed one last combination of punches that left Ruddock's head dancing on his body, unable to resist.
Coming back. Now Tyson with a big one. Pretty good chin. Yeah, but Ruddock.
All that could be seen was left-right until Steele had the mercy Tyson wouldn't show and stopped the fight. With this, Mike Tyson was declared the winner by technical knockout at 2 minutes and 22 seconds of the 7th round. If you've made it this far, I thank you. Did you like the story? Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Ruddock had any real chance of killing Mike Tyson as he promised? Or was he just a big mouth who spoke too quickly? I'll read you in the comments.